Hello, my friends. Today is February 1st, and this is a reading for you if this is your birth date. This is a four-card reading. It will go for the entire year to follow. The first card is a general energy card, something that might go through the year or something that might crack up the year and make you look at it. The second one is a particular challenge you will face this year, February 1st. And the third card is an action you can take to stay in balance. And the fourth is an outcome or a synopsis card. We'll talk more about that. This is the general energy card for the year. It is the shadow. Well, what does the shadow ask us to reflect upon? Well, the shadow asks us to look at the shadow itself, to actually pay a deep and compassionate and willing look at the shadow things that often control us. What is the things that are undeniable, the things that are unspeakable, the things that we hate about ourselves. What do you hate about yourself? What are you in denial about yourself? Well, the shadow this year asks you to look at it, to understand that it's something that's a part of the picture, and it's not to be unloved. It is to be understood. The shadow asks to be understood, and it's asked for you to bring your compassion and your openness and your vulnerability to look at it and not be afraid of it, because most of our is just that, just some shadow that is there that we've bought into, that makes us wrong or bad or unlovable or unworthy or disconnected from everything, and we hate those aspects of ourselves, power we've given away or power we've put over others, or things we've done to others that they didn't like and that we didn't like ultimately, or things that we went against, our church or our society or our friends or even ourselves around. The shadow is all those deep aspects. There's a great quote. What is it? In the shadow of the gods lives God himself or herself. So in your shadow, God is there. In your shadow, God is there. Allow God to be looked at. Allow Creator to be looked at in your shadow with deep compassion this year. So what is your particular challenge? Well, it is the Lover's card. And the Lover's card, might be reflected in a situation of love with somebody else. But ultimately, the Lover's card is that deep split that the Gemini often exhibits. That rise to kind of manic love and acceptance of everything, and a sudden drop to the cynicism and the negativity and the hatred of self that Geminis seem to be able to show very easily. From their worry to their full trust. It's all those things. So what is this card asking you to do? Well, it's asking you just what the shadow to do is to look with love at the things that you hate. The Lover's card is ultimately about becoming fully kind and compassionate to yourself in both your shadow and your light, in both your intuition and your analysis, in both your consciousness and your subconscious, to allow yourself to become a whole being that's full of everything and is working on becoming a more clean and clear and authentic person. And that's your challenge this year, to allow yourself to go deeply into those things that you don't like about yourself and that you avoid and that you shove into the dark and that you hold as negatives. And you're going to learn, I think, in a very big way, that those are your teachers and those are your aspects of Creator that you need to look at. And that is why you need to come into your shadow with an openness and with a love and with a patience, but with a perseverance. It says, I want to heal myself. I want to love myself. I want to be whole. I want to be whole and accept those parts of myself along with those great parts that I really love. I want to accept those parts that I don't love and allow them to be part of the shadow. If you're fully light, you're fully light. You explode into light. We have to have shadow. We're humans. We have to reflect against everything else that's going on outside of ourselves. And you're going to see places where you disagree and agree with everybody and with everything, just like the Gemini and that vast disagreement that sits in the center of Gemini. That splits them and makes them go high and low and up and down and in and out and around and around. So, in that frenzy, in that flurry of stuff this year, when that's being asked of you, and you might feel like you need to avoid it, and you just, by avoiding it, do you put more negative energy into the shadow? By avoiding it, do you put more negative energy into the shadow? The power it takes, the movement it takes to not look at something that is eating at you and tearing you apart, and open it up to to your consciousness and to your willingness to look at it. That's what creates the craziness inside of us. That's what creates that big split inside of us. So what do you need to do? Your action to take is the prairie dog. Go and retreat. I love the prairie dog with its den, and it comes up along the roadsides, and it sits there watching in every direction, making sure everything is clean and nothing's coming to get it or eat it or mess with it or mess with its family. And it will be a great awareness. It's about awareness and willing to look in that shadow. And then what does it do? If it feels a threat, it runs down into its hole. It runs down into its retreat. So this is a card that says sometimes you have to really go into retreat in order to do the shadow work that you can't see. When the prairie dogs go into the earth, they can't see per se. They probably see a lot better than we see. But for us to go into the earth, we would be in our shadow. We would be in our darkness. So the prairie dog says, be willing to go into your darkness. It is the thing that will give you your life back. It will thing that will protect you if you allow yourself to look at it. And when you do that healing work that comes from going into retreat and allowing yourself to be open to it, then do you become the last card, which is similar, very similar to the second card. The challenge is also the outcome and synopsis. And look, the two people entwined have become one person, whole in between those two trees that are no longer straight and rigid, but actually curved and forming a sense of compassion and love around oneself. And what do you hold but a staff in your hand that says you become a teacher, and you become a guide, and you become a clear voice for balance, and a clear voice for letting go of the things that you need to let go of. And ultimately, I think that's what this card says. You have to let go of the things that you can let go of. And a lot of that is the shadow that you have called to yourself, and you believe in yourself, and you shoved down inside of yourself, and you want to make it, you want to avoid it, and you hate something about yourself. That's the part that is your guide. That is the part that is your healer. And that is the part that will take you out to heal others that you will heal others from. That knowledge, that journey, that space of finding yourself, that space of allowing your authenticity to be your guide and your authority. And so this is a shadow work year. Allow your shadow to be seen with grace and perseverance and patience and trust and love, and bring some gentleness into your shadow, and allow your shadow to come forward to meet you halfway. Aho.